And you can see when we talk about 1.4 million Rotarians around the world, it's an example of the global impact that we have as Rotarians. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you ever go or have a chance to go to a World Convention for RI, please do it. It's amazing to see the flags walk across the stage. There are more countries represented through Rotary than the entire United Nations. Just think about that for a minute. It's incredible, the impact that we have around the world. Next, I'd like to do a flag exchange with Elizabeth Lawrence, who's our visitor today from the Breckenridge Mountain Rotary Club. And her family, I believe they're moving or are moving to Little Rock. So we got to recruit her into the club.
Well, hi there, I'm Elizabeth Lawrence from Breckenridge, Colorado, but originally a native of Conway. I've lived in Breckenridge for about 2 decades that's right, 2 decades, but would like to get back to Arkansas. So if anyone's hiring, let me know. I serve as county judge. I understand y'all probably don't need a new county judge here. So, yes, oh, great. Oh, well, I know a lot of your folks, so great people. Sir, I will not come after your job, I promise. Though I'm a pretty good county judge. I was really excited to get here today and win the award for traveling furthest. Well, our friend from India beat me by a lot, so Breckenridge is not that far. But thank you all for welcoming me, and I'm happy to be here. And our flag has a skier on it. We're a very small and little club, only founded in 2008, and I've been a member since 2009. We only have about 15 members. We're a little club. Now down the road, we have a big club in Frisco, Colorado that has about 150 members, but they meet real early in the morning. So thanks again.
All right, nice to meet you. Thank you. We've discovered that meeting at Tuesday at noon works really well, so thank you for being here. All right, so next we will have Molly McNulty introduce and welcome our newest member to Club 99.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Sarah Beth Estes as our newest Club 99 member. Sarah Beth is sponsored by Aaron Finzer, who is in Chicago today, but we are certainly grateful she brought such a fabulous new member and fellow UA Little Rock administrator to our Rotary Club. Dr. Estes is the Dean of the College of Humanities, Arts, Social Science, and Education. She was born in Little Rock and raised in Southwest Missouri. Sarah Beth graduated from Hendrix College with a BA in sociology and worked for 1 year as a volunteer coordinator at the Arkansas Arthritis Foundation before beginning graduate school at the University of Iowa in 1993. Her scholarship focuses on work and family interactions and workplace equity, and her teaching focuses on research methods on equipping students to ask good questions and understand what data they would need to have to address those questions. After obtaining her master's and PhD from Iowa, her first faculty position was at the University of Cincinnati. She notes that her 2 children were both born in Cincinnati, so they are Bearcats, Reds, Bengals, and Buckeyes. But she saw the light and moved back to Little Rock when they were still young. Both boys attended Fulbright Elementary and Eastham. Her older son is in Los Angeles as a student at LA Community College studying Mandarin, and her younger son is a sports-loving senior at Little Rock Central High. Dr. Estes has had many roles at UA Little Rock, including teaching in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, and was a longtime faculty senator. She also served as a faculty senate vice president and has been an associate dean in 2 different colleges, the associate provost for community careers and extended education, and for the past 5 years, she's been the dean of 2 different colleges. She is passionate about the mission of the university and the well-being of the students and the community it serves. Dr. Estes has been a longtime Women's Foundation board member and served as president of the board from 2019 through 2021. She also has published research reports for the foundation and has served on the Arkansas Repertory Theater Board. She loves to hike, read fiction, be on the water, and learn new things. Thanks to her incredible Rotary programs, I know she'll be learning new things each week. Welcome and congratulations, Sarah Beth.
Thank you, Molly, and congrats, Sarah Beth, or as she said, Dr. Estes. Welcome to Club 99. Our new member streak continues. Anybody want to guess? 5? 35, that's right. 35 consecutive meetings. We're still going strong. Let's keep it going, at least for another week, guys. Thank you, Molly. Sarah Beth, welcome. Next week, we're going to have a really cool program, thanks to Natalie Gadati, in bringing Ross Duvall of Heartland Forward. Ross is the leader of the policy think tank that's kind of looking for ways to help solve challenges in the flyover states, the heartland of America. Should be a fascinating conversation next Tuesday. Also, be on the lookout for the Arkansas Travelers opening night RSVP. We won't be meeting that day. It's April the 11th. We will have a chance to kind of hang out as a social that evening, and we'll join the Travelers in the opening night of minor league baseball here in North Little Rock. So it should be a really fun time together. Please make plans to join us, and only come to the Clinton Library if you want to go to the exhibits that day. All right. And now to the City of Little Rock Police Awards. As we get started, I would like to say a special word of thanks to McDonald's and Sissy's Log Cabin. We are most grateful for their generous support as we pay tribute to our police officers and personnel who serve and protect us around the clock. Thank you. As we get things underway, I'd like for Drew Harper, the chair of this year's Police Awards, who joined Elizabeth Cloxton as the co-chair of Police and Fire Awards Committee, to join me in presenting today's awards. Drew?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, thank you. Thank you, President Peacock, and good afternoon. It is my privilege and honor to help recognize some of the city's amazing police officers who are on the front lines protecting us every day. We're grateful for their service and we appreciate their dedication. Today is an acknowledgement of their selfless and courageous work. To help us honor these exceptional people, I am pleased to introduce Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr., a fellow Rotarian, a fellow Club 99er, a fellow Parkview Patriot. Mayor, please come up and say a few words.
There are so many patriots around, hail to the red, white, and blue. Today's assignment takes place 365 days of the year. 52 weeks of the year, 7 days a week, 24/7. Rain, sleet, snow, tornadoes, severe storms, floods, happy days, sad days. As my grandfather would say, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Each of those instances, the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department are here for us as they protect, they serve, and they guard all of us. They demonstrate the epitome of sacrifice, not only for them themselves, but for their very families who are watching them leave each and every day as they protect and serve others in addition to their families. Not only is that definition of sacrifice, but it's also understanding the true strength of a community. There's no way you can have a true prosperous community if your community is not secure. And I'm proud of the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department who are being led by Chief Heath Helton as they're working each and every day to be a 21st century community policing organization, an organization that's truly ingrained in our community, so as they react to the community's woes, not only are they focused on prevention, but also intervention and treatment to truly ensure that we write the better days ahead. So on behalf of the Little Rock City Board of Directors, I want to share on behalf of the City of Little Rock how much we appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. We appreciate those remarks. Next, it is my honor to introduce the 39th Chief of Police for the City of Little Rock, Chief Heath Helton, and invite him to the podium to share a few remarks. Chief.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Wow, it's an honor to be here, not only just as the Chief of Police for the City of Little Rock, but also as a resident of Little Rock, a graduate, not of Parkview, but of J Fair. I am a product of Little Rock School District, so very proud to stand here before you today, not only to thank you personally from the entire Little Rock Police Department for what Club 99 has done, not only this year, but for numerous years, to recognize not only law enforcement, but our partners in the fire department for their exceptional service they continuously, give the city throughout the year, because, we recognize some officers here today and the awesome work that they did for last year, but truly I wish I could get all 500 plus members of our department up here to recognize them personally and thank them for the work that they've done. They truly pour their heart and souls into our community. They give back in so many ways, not only just the service, but behind the scenes that you all never even know the things that they do. They don't ask for recognition. They simply do it because they feel called to serve. Nobody does this job for the outstanding money, even though we're paid good, but you don't do it for the money. You simply do it because you have a calling to stand up here and do this. And it's truly amazing to see the tremendous work that our women and our men do every day, day in and day out, to represent this line of work, which I truly believe is the most noblest profession in the world that we do day in. So I thank you all. We thank the club. We appreciate your support. Look forward to all the partnerships. And I know Mark and I are going to be up here a little bit later to talk about me and him, our fireside chat that we'll have. Looking forward to that. But again, thank you all. Thank Club 99, and when we enjoy our partnership with you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. As he said, we're going to do a little fireside chat after we do the awards, so stick around. We're going to have an opportunity to get to know the Chief a little bit better. We thought it might be a fun way to, since we probably would have a little bit of extra time for our guests and members today, to get to know our new police chief. So thank you for agreeing to do that. And Mark, thank you for leading the discussion. We appreciate you. He'll be back. He'll be back. Don't worry. All right. Today we will recognize the top 5 award recipients. But before we turn to them, let's take a moment and recognize the officers of the month, all of whom deserve respect and praise, and each of you will receive a certificate in your name as Officer of the Month. If you turn your attention to the screen, you'll see their names displayed. So let's have a huge applause for these brave men and women. Can everybody read their names? If not, I'll do it for you. You got it? All right. Thank you, all of you, for being an Officer of the Month. We'd also like to recognize the LRPD officers who received life-saving awards this year. Their names are also displayed on the slides, and we will salute them for their bravery, courage, and instincts that saved numerous lives. In moments of crisis, they rose to the occasion, and they were able to save someone's life right here in our community. I think you deserve a bravo. We appreciate you. Imagine that. All of these folks represent at least one saved life in our community. It really is, when you think about it, pretty phenomenal. And so we're just very grateful to not only our Officers of the Month, but our Lifesaver Award honorees as well. And then next, before I turn it over to Drew to go through some of the other awards, I'd like to note some of the department's honorees, including the Civilian Employee of the Month, the Citizen Achievement Awards, the Civic Achievement and Unit Commendation Awards. They're all highlighted on the screen. We're proud to recognize these individuals and units. Congratulations to all of you. And now, Drew, you want to come up and do the other awards? All right. Thank you.
Each year, the Kimberly Finkelstein Memorial Civilian of the Year Award is made possible by Hugh Finkelstein. It is presented to the person who has served the department as an exemplary employee. I'm proud to announce that this year's recipient is Doug Olive. Let's watch this short video.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Dana Jackson, with the Intelligence Lieutenant for the Little Rock Police Department. One of our team members, Doug Olive, was nominated for Civilian Employee of the Month earlier this year, and I'm happy to say he has been selected for that award, and we here at the Special Investigations Division couldn't be more pleased. Doug is an integral part of our team. He enables this division to keep the city safe by monitoring, repairing, and maintaining our operational systems. He also advises me and other supervisory personnel on crucial technical issues that we face in our day-to-day operations. Doug, congratulations on this honor. It is well deserved. Thank you.
Doug, come on up. Did it open up? Yeah. Come on. Chief Helton, come on upstairs. Congratulations. Let's get the chief in. Yeah. Congratulations. This year's Community Service Award goes to Officer Takesha Gilbert. Please direct your attention to the screen for this short video.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Tanya Washington, retired LRPD captain and currently working as a community youth crime prevention advocate with the Little Rock Police Department. I have nominated Officer Lakeisha Gilbert for her unusual and unique assignment to the Little Rock Police Department's youth programs. Over the last 8 years, Officer Gilbert has served as a mentor for LRPD's GEMS programs, that's Girls Empowered by Mentoring Sisterhoods. The GEMS program is a program that teaches self-respect, empowerment, social responsibility, academic achievement, and life skills for girls ages 12 to 18. Officer Gilbert is one of the most dedicated officers to have ever worked in LRPD's youth programs. Her kindness, compassion, and selfless contributions are honorable mention, from counseling, mentoring, and nurturing to planning activities, spending endless weekends participating in volunteer events, or empowering students to achieve excellence. Officer Gilbert does it all with a huge smile on her face. I cannot think of a more deserving person to nominate for the Little Rock Police Department's Community Service Award.
Officer Gilbert, come on up. Thank you, Officer Gilbert. Congratulations. All right, the Little Rock Police Department honors the Rookie of the Year Award with the annual Noel Don McGuire Memorial Award. This award is named for a Little Rock police officer that was killed in the line of duty 43 years ago. This year's outstanding recruit, Officer Eric Jordan, put together an amazing report card. Let me give you some of the stats. Academic average, 95.06. Physical fitness, 95.60. Firearms, 93.33 for a total score of 94.66. So we congratulate Officer Jordan on being the Rookie of the Year. Officer Jordan could not be in attendance today. He is currently on military assignment. We appreciate Officer Jordan for his commitment to our city and for his commitment to our country. During his tenure, former Little Rock Police Chief Lawrence Johnson added an award category to recognize officers who exhibit outstanding leadership in the course of their duties. This year's recipient of the Lawrence Johnson Leadership Award is a very, very deserving officer. But due to the nature of their work, we will present their award off camera at a later time. But I have a good sense that they can hear us, so if you'll do me a huge favor and acknowledge the Lawrence Johnson Leadership Award recipient with a round of applause. You guys can just take a picture of each other if you want to. Just a second. Yeah. All right, the annual Marquee Award of the Little Rock Police Department is the Chief Stewart Thomas Officer of the Year. This year's recipient is Detective Roy Williams. Please watch this short video.
I'm Lieutenant Burnett, Little Rock Police Department, Homicide Unit Commander. I nominated Roy Williams for Officer of the Year. Not everyone can do this job. He does it with passion, he does it with conviction, and I think that he is more deserving of this honor. Congratulations.
Detective Roy Williams, please come up. And thanks to the generosity of Sissy's Log Cabin, we are able to give Officer of the Year a brand new watch from Sissy's Log Cabin. We are also delighted that the award for the officer this year will also receive a $3,000 check for their incredible service. And representing our department, President Peacock, I just want to note that the check received the second largest applause. I just want to note that. Thank you, Detective Williams, for your incredible service and the way you have exhibited your leadership for the department. Thank you again. Officer of the Year, Detective Roy Williams, thank you. Thank you all again for being here today as we take a moment to recognize these women and men in uniform. As evidenced by their examples highlighted here today, there is so much of positive work that's being done for our city, and our Little Rock Police Department is representing us well. I want you to know that we appreciate you, we appreciate your families for your service and for your sacrifice. Before we transition to the next part of our program, I want to recognize McDonald's and Sissy's Log Cabin once again for their support this year. I want to say a special thank you to Officer Jonathan Tolentino for his leadership in helping put this together, this awards program together today. Officer Tolentino, will you please stand? I'll tell you, Officer Tolentino is a true professional. He will probably block my calls after today, but it was a joy in working with him. I also want to recognize President-elect Natalie Godotti, Chad Cumming, President Peacock, Karen Fetzer, and Lil Foster for their leadership, guidance, and contributions in putting together today's program. So thank you. All right, so for the next portion, well, before we do that, can we give the recipients of awards today and the entire department a huge round of applause? For the next portion of our program, we'll have a fireside chat with Chief Helton and Mark Edwards. As they make their way to the stage, let me share a little bit about our guest. Mark Edwards is a dynamic communicator who communicates with people, resources, ideas, and messages with over 20 years of experience in the communication space that track from Little Rock to Memphis, from radio to television to podcast. He's a graduate of Henderson State University, and he joined the department in 2020, and he handles public information, media relations, and social media. Chief Helton, as he mentioned, is a 27-year veteran of the Little Rock Police Department, grew up in Southwest Little Rock, graduated from J. Fair. He joined the United States Army Reserves and then joined the Little Rock Police Department in 1996. In 2022, Chief Helton was sworn in by Mayor Frank Scott Jr. as the 39th Chief of Police of the City of Little Rock. He's a graduate of the 268th session of the FBI National Academy. He holds a bachelor's degree in leadership from Central Baptist College and a master's degree in criminal justice and public administration from Liberty University. He's received numerous civilian and supervisor commendations, 3 life-saving awards, 3 police commendation awards, the Civic Achievement Award, the Chief Lawrence Johnson Leadership Award as well. As the chief mentioned, he lives here in Little Rock with his wife Carmen, and as I've been told, 4 amazing kids. Please welcome our guest to the stage.
All right, I'm a little loud, so let me make sure I get the mic level. You all right, Chief?
Yeah, the chairs don't accommodate these belts very much, but let me get this on here.
Let's see. Should be on.
Is it on? Okay, good.
Before we get started, while we're acknowledging high schools, let me put Robinson High School in there so we know we are represented in here as well. All right, I'm joined now by Chief Helton, and a lot of people don't know Chief, so let me give this opportunity for you to find out who he is as a person. So go ahead and tell everybody that.
Yeah, again, name's Heath Helton. Born and raised here in Little Rock. Grew up in Southwest my entire lifetime here. Product of Little Rock School District, I think Little Rock's a great community. Had every desire to, I joined the military right out of high school, did the early entry program, and went away to boot camp at Fort Knox, and then my specialized training was down at Fort Sam Houston. Came back home, had every desire to want to go to med school, but got involved in fraternity early on and kind of deterred me, but I always knew I felt called to serve and want to help. So I had a friend of mine who actually worked at the North Little Rock Police Department that said, hey, why don't you be a police officer? And I had to really laugh real hard at that at first. But the more I started thinking about it, I had friends at the time that had known the family that I'd talked to, and they kind of said, hey, why not try it? So the more I thought about it, hey, it's an opportunity, let me try it. 27 years later, here I am. Best decision I ever made in my entire life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Truly enjoy what I do. And then, when I hired on here in '96, I've worked pretty much everywhere in the police department except our Special Investigations Division. Never had the opportunity to go out there, but got a fully good grasp of everything. Was blessed enough to have some good mentors along the way that allowed me to promote up and encourage me and motivate me to want to be a difference maker within the organization. So made that and made the jump to assistant chief, and then lo and behold, some things happened, and we had a kind of a turnover there. And when Mayor Scott was honored enough to open up the process, and I thought long and hard about applying for being the chief, and talked about it with my wife, who's just simply my amazing, beautiful wife, who's my foundation. She works on the north side of the river as a sergeant for the North Little Rock Police Department, but had a long conversation, and she says, you know what, go. And I always had the desire to want to be a chief. In recruit school, if you've heard me talk, I can remember Chief Caldell at the time went around the room and said, hey, what's your desire? What do you want to do while you're here? And I said, well, I want to be the chief one day. All my classmates laughed, but I always have to remind them, look at me now, here I am. But
That's how you do it.
yeah.
That's how you do it.
So I applied, and then, the date, and I'm sure we'll get into the story how everything got developed, but my first ever trip to Starbucks was Mayor Scott, which he found that very hard to believe, but he never had the desire to go to Starbucks prior to that day. But it was really interesting, and then was offered the job and truly honored and humbled at the selection. Little Rock, like I said, is very special to me. I'm invested here. I love this community. Every time I go and visit other places is great, but Little Rock's home. And this is I think it's a hidden gem. It's a great city. Yeah, we have our challenges, but I go to other cities too, and they have just as many challenges as we do. But overall, it's a great place, a great community, and I'm very excited to be the chief.
All right. Well, one of the things Drew talked about when we did this was, what's the chief's vision for the police department? How do you see things? So I said that'd be my first question. So how do you see things?
That's one question I ask quite a bit when I go out to the community. So the vision for me is looking at, it's really a twofold type deal for me. So one, obviously addressing our violent crime issue, getting that arms wrapped around it. We've seen an increase across the country in violent crime. I like to tell folks that the world we live in now is a totally different world than what we knew 5, 10, 15 years ago. We simply live in a different age and time now. Coming out of COVID, I don't know if we all know what normal looks like anymore. I still think we're trying to figure out what the new normal is. So we have a lot of challenges to try to grapple with. So trying to tackle the violent crime is number one. Trying to address the recruiting issue. There's no secret, law enforcement across the country is facing a tremendous challenge with trying to get people into this profession. I think a lot of it has been over the last few years when we saw the tragic incidents in Ferguson, and then you can just name them on, and then you had George Floyd, and you would just keep seeing them over and over, and that really hurts because hurts the profession, but we have been vilified to a degree as well as a profession. So that has really hurt our ability to get people who I think want to get involved in this line of work, but they're afraid to because of the vilification of law enforcement. But we got to continue to do better. So we're doing our recruiting, and then relationships, building our relationships with the community, that transparency, having the ability to network and build that trust between law enforcement and the community. Not only just with any certain area of the city, I'm talking all areas in the city, whether you're in the South End, the East End, West Little Rock, Southwest, John Barrow, whatever. We need to have a footprint in every one of those communities. We need to have partners, not only our business partners, but community leaders, faith-based organizations. We need to make sure we have those relationships, that communication is open. So, because when we're all working together, we can move mountains as a city. And we can't do it alone. We have to be able to network with our community partners and then our citizens of the community. So that's very important to me. So in order to accomplish that, if you've heard me speak here recently in the last few months, you've heard me talk about CPR. We know CPR is about resuscitating, bringing life back. So my CPR acronym is kind of based off that. So the C stands for communications. As an organization, we've got to do better communicating internally and externally. So part of my as being the chief, we're going to improve our communication internally. We're going to make sure from the message from the top goes down to the bottom, and we're listening what's coming from the bottom up. We're listening to our employees. So I'm very blessed that our communication lines are opening, and we're trying to make sure that's done, because when you don't communicate with your employees and they don't know what the message is or what the vision is, they will fill in that blank, which helps them rationalize whatever's going on in their world. So we've got to do a good job with that. The other part of that, we've got to communicate better externally with our community stakeholders, our members of our public. Remember, we got to let y'all know what we're doing. We've got to educate the community. We've got to listen to the community. So that's an important part. The P part is professionalism. We've got to work on being a professional organization, being better than what we have been, how we interact with the public, how we interact with each other. That is very important. So we've got to establish the professionalism, let people know we are a professional organization and that we're not amateurs. The community, we're lucky that the taxpayers help front our bills, help pay the bills for us, pay our stuff, but we need to make sure we are providing you with that professionalism that you as a public expect. And then the R is relationships. To me, is the most important one out of all of it, because I can't build a house if I don't have a good foundation, and the relationships are that foundation. So our internal relationships to making sure we are good with each other, and then our community partners, our members of the public, our various communities throughout the city. We've got to do a good job of making sure we have those relationships. If all that is clicking right, you will see success, and you will see a lot of different things, a lot of movement in a positive manner for the city and for the police department. So I'm very excited about that. I think opportunistic right now. There's a lot of opportunity here within the organization. They just promoted some assistant chiefs the other day. Chief Dyer, who just came up from our 12th Street Division, was promoted, and then Chief Ellison, who's actually has a family member getting promoted at the Dallas PD, so he's with them today. So very excited about the internal growth of the department, because all of us have come up through the ranks. We all know each other. And then not only just internally, but we think about externally as well. Here in Central Arkansas, law enforcement's in a really, really great position, because all the leaders of the organizations, we all know each other. We came up together. We started around the same time. A lot of us, like Colonel Hager over at State Police, we were on SWAT teams together. We did a lot of operations together. We know each other, so those relationships are established. That works for us, because now there's not a lot of building, as opposed to bring somebody from the outside having to learn. I can pick up the phone and call any of them at any time, and they're going to support, whether it's Chief Testing in North Little Rock, Chief Hager in Sherwood, far as up in Bryant, all got relationships everyone. So that is huge, huge for our city, and something that I don't think I've seen in my 27 years here that we've ever had. So I'm very happy about that, and I keep reminding the mayor there's a lot of opportunity here, and I think we're moving in a very positive direction.
Well, you mentioned change, and one of the first interviews, I got a chance to sit down with a very young reporter, and I had to let them know she was upset about one of the officers retiring after 30-plus years. I had to let her know things have changed in 30-something years. There's social media now. People wore suits with shoulder pads in them, and we had we had pay phones back in the day. So as I'm telling her this, she looks at me and she goes, "What's a payphone?" So with that being said, back in the 90s when you started, they were pay phones. There wasn't social media. What's the difference in policing now as opposed to back in the 90s, 2000?
Definitely a lot more challenges now. When you look at, the crime part has always kind of been the same. I always say police work's really interesting, because we deal with a lot of the same cast of characters that we see on a daily basis. Sometimes the situations are a little different, but it's the same characters that we get to interact with. And for myself, we've seen it evolve. Technology has become very, very big in law enforcement. We're seeing that, fill in a lot of gaps for us. So where we're seeing some staffing challenges now, like any other agency across the country, technology is filling that role for us that we haven't been able to see in the past. And the technology is rapidly changing very quickly, and you're seeing it filter into the line of work. The cars that we get now are totally different. I mean, my first police car down here was a Chevrolet Caprice. It was built like a tank, ran like a scalded dog. As opposed to now, you get in there, it's like sitting in the Starship Enterprise. There's a lot of technology, so it's really different. And when you talk to some of the younger officers and you talk about how, there was a program we used to have called dictaphone. So we used to go to convenience stores and you'd call in your reports over the phone. You tell younger officers that, and they look at you like, y'all did that? Yes, we did. Just a lot of different things. But I think that's what police work is about. We learn to adapt. Of course, law enforcement's the world's worst. We hate change. Don't know why, because it's the one thing that's constant. It's always going to occur, but we somehow resent it. But we've had to learn to adapt, and society is adapting, and that's the way we have to kind of look at how do we continue to evolve, how do we continue, to look at ourselves and become better. I know a lot of people, we've heard police reform for years, and especially it's picked up over the last several years, but when I think about police reform, it's something that we do all the time anyway, because we're constantly having to adapt to our environment. So really nothing new for us on that aspect, but how do we implement it, how do we continue to go, and I think, but we got to become more engaging now. I think the community wants more out of us, so we got to figure out a way to continue to listen more.
All right, before we get out of here, I know we got a few minutes, but I wanted a couple of rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
Biggest surprises so far, not just in as chief, just in the past year, biggest surprises?
Well, probably the day that Mayor Scott offered me the job, because I really thought I was being pranked that day when we were sitting there, because when he asked me, I kind of just, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, is he serious here? Is this really for real? Would he just ask me? Yeah. So, because then it was like, I humbly accept. And then it was like, okay, we're going to do a press conference here in about an hour. And I'm like, man, I need to go home and change. And he's like, no, you can go. I said, no, I need to change. And I'm thinking, I need to call my wife. So, but yeah, that's probably one of the funniest things, but there's been many over the years. I think any law enforcement officer could probably write a book about all the craziness that we've seen or experienced or their fun times. And, I think one of the funniest things, when they opened up the Clinton Library, I was on the SWAT team at the time, and actually there were a lot of celebrities that came to town. I actually got paired up with Robin Williams, so I had to escort him around, and believe it or not, the way he acted on TV is really how he is in real life. I mean, the guy was funny. He had his mom with him and his wife and his kids, and I was paired up with them the entire time. So that was a really fun time.
Okay. Well, one of the things my kids ask me is Dad, you're with 12 now. That's the new term for police officers. You work for the feds is what they like to say. So one of the things they always ask me is, what about something about police officers no one knows? Let me tell you something. If you have to have paperwork signed, anything you need, you better get it before 11 o'clock, because at 11 o'clock, every police officer in the city is at lunch. So tell me something from your perspective about police officers no one would believe.
I think one thing that has always really just fascinated me about law enforcement is that who they are outside this line of work. They're fathers, husbands, wives, mothers, but they have an extreme amount of talent of doing other things. We've got people that play musical instruments, that cook, do body shop work. They have so many other talents and probably could be doing so many other jobs out there, but they're here. And when you think about it, why they're doing it is because they feel called to serve. And that's what amazes me, because we have people that could do probably other professions, probably make a lot more money than but they're here. And that's what, to me, fascinates me about law enforcement. So when you see us in our uniforms and things like that, yes, this is us. But outside of this uniform, there are really some amazing, talented people, coaches, mentors, amazing husbands, wives. I mean, they're amazing, amazing people, and they give back so many different ways. And that's what I think, and it just fascinates me the most about law enforcement, that they're really great human beings outside of this line of work.
Ladies and gentlemen, Police Chief Heath Helton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. You gotta stay up here for a second. Yeah, I got a book for you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Chief Helton, for sharing your vision for the department and for our city. Isn't he really cool? And what a great hire, Mayor. Thank you for being a part of our leadership team in the city. Thank you. Mark, thanks as always for the informative discussion. No surprise there. Former sports journalist and a media savant. He's a great leader for the department. Thank you. Keep going. All right. Also, special thanks to co-chair Drew Harper. There you are. And his committee. Great job. Appreciate all you did to make this a special event for all of you who serve and protect us every day. Congratulations. As a token of appreciation for all your good work, the Rotary Club 99 Foundation and McDonald's will be presenting gift cards again to every Little Rock police officer in our city. And to every member of the department's civilian support staff. So we want you to know that your community supports you and appreciates you for all you do to protect and serve us every day. Thank you. For our award winners today, those that can be seen in public, please come up quickly afterwards. We'll do a group photo, so don't leave. Make sure your check's signed. It has to have 2 signatures. We want to make sure you can cash it. But again, congratulations. We thank you for all you do, and we want to celebrate you and all that you do to help protect us and all that you've done this past year. Next, I want to make sure the chief gets one of our speaker gifts that we've been doing every week as part of our speaker series. We give a book to each of our speakers by a Little Rock Connected author. This one acts as the namesake of the Clinton Center. That's Chelsea, who did this one and signed it. This is a little token of our appreciation for our literacy initiative that we're doing, and it's an important initiative for Rotary around the world. And what we're going to do is at the end of this fiscal year, we will give a selection of these books to every Little Rock School District library and resource center in our elementary schools. And every speaker who's been here, including Chief, will actually be in the book as someone who spoke to our club this year. So for that, I just want to say thank you. Next week, join us at the Clinton Center as we hear from Ross Duvall of Heartland Forward. If you're on our board of directors, we will be meeting immediately after in the Clinton School in the classroom, so please stick around if you're on our board of directors. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.